Do you think a snail knows how slow it is? Or how fast it is? I guess probably not. Hi. Oh, my studio manager here. It's been quite a month, and it's not stopping just yet. I've been very busy in the studio. I've made all this work, and, well, for good reason. I have a show opening this week, and I've spent this last 4 weeks or so prepping all of the art that I've made. Most of it is from this year. There's a couple pieces from a couple years ago, but it's about 15 works that I get to mount. And I've had a lot of people recently ask me about that, so I recorded a few times of me mounting some works on paper. And it's a pretty simple process. I've been using gel medium, whereas before I might have used matte medium, but I found that the thicker medium is a little bit easier and also more economically sound. It just makes more sense. So I have this brayer that I use to roller out all the air bubbles. And then I turn it over onto a nice clean piece of plastic so that it won't stick to whatever surface. And then I clamp it down just to make sure it's nice and flat, weighted. It's a pretty simple process, but maybe a little daunting on a big scale. So here's a smaller version. Nice even layer of medium. Center the piece. Roller out the air bubbles. Check for any overhang or excess medium. Weight it down on plastic. And that's pretty much it. I've done this so much over the last few weeks that it's very second nature. I end up stacking works on top of works because I have basically one main working table. I was really concerned that I wasn't going to have enough time, or I'm not sure, just, the stress of wanting it all to happen just right. And I think that this month has really been a test of trusting that timing, everything will work out. But all these pieces came out really well. I had some extra panels that were already made, and I wanted to kind of play with these smaller ones. So I made a little cutout. But even the larger pieces came out well. If a little bit of medium comes out over the edge, I can just sand it off pretty easily. This larger piece had a pretty big overhang on one side and was actually a millimeter or two short on one little piece, which wasn't particularly noticeable if you stood back from it, but I can get pretty specific and very detail oriented, so I ended up sanding that little edge off and trimming the paper. And it was just such a small piece. Pretty easily done. The sharp blade. But yeah, it's very, very detailed work that I get into. And these are things that people probably won't notice. But I look at everything with such a magnifying glass. I've been picking up wood as well over the weeks because I had to build some more panels out. I made, maybe a dozen panels. A lot of 9x12 smaller pieces. Pretty easy process. Just nailing together the 1x2s and then putting a 1/4-inch ply on top of it. Easily done when you have the tools. And again, a nice even layer of medium. Some of these works were on Bristol paper, which is particularly thick, and I find that they adhere better to the medium if I dampen the back of the paper a little bit. Again, centering, rollering. I love how this flattens the paper out and just makes it look so official and crisp. I've been spending a lot of evenings walking back from the studio checking off my to-do lists. Filling my table up. The last 2 weeks of this month have been a lot of reassessing, taking in the work that I've done, looking over the new work that I haven't mounted yet, and seeing where else I need to kind of finish up. If I didn't make a panel, then I have these other floating panels that I've made. But so far, so good. It's funny how reliable I am on plastic. Not my favorite material, but very helpful, very useful. I made a few works that are kind of unusual, like this all red one. Something about it really is striking to me, not only because of the color, but this kind of simple composition. It's really easy for me to get sucked into the details of these things. And the days have just been going by so fast. But I am delighted on how it all turned out, how it's all come together. All in all, I have 17 pieces for this show, which feels like a lot for how small the space is. But a lot of them are pretty small. I even painted the sides of a couple panels. Trying something new. I mounted pretty much every piece and have a lot of mounting hardware to attach. Not only hanging wires, but brackets and eye hooks. All in a day. I hung the work with the help of the 2 gallerists, and it went by so quickly, so easily. They were professionals, of course, and with the use of some lasers, everything just went up so fast. I'm looking forward to the opening, and I'm trusting that everything is happening just the right